Hi, I am Cabral Creates, and I got a very special camera, the Blackmagic 6K full frame. For the first time ever, I got to play with a real cinema camera.
Yeah. Now back to the city.
A camera that is Hollywood level without the Hollywood price tag. In this video, I'm going to tell you everything about it.
Break down my wall, but I will rise again. 'Cause I stand tall in my environment. So when I see my people fight off the evil, just know this ain't new. A picture can be framed, but every eye will see a different view. So when I hear the chants, when I hear the screams, when I see the horrible scenes, when I see the horrid things coming from human beings, I pray that one day a new way will take over. What it's like to breathe life.
What's up, puppy?
We're so blind to the pain of the other. We must see beyond me in the struggle. Break down my walls, but I will rise again. 'Cause I stand tall in my environment. How could I ever close my eyes and stay silent since they try to take me down with their violence?
A lot of people on YouTube, they did a very good job at telling you the specs of this camera. In this video, I'm going to take a different approach, and I'm going to show you what I can cook with this camera so that you know what you can cook with this camera. And I'm going to tell you my honest experience as a shooter shooting on this camera. To me, what matters at the end of the day is what I can cook with the tools these companies are making. This camera was sent to me by Blackmagic. I don't get to keep it. I gotta send it right back, which sucks because guess what? I love this camera. It is excellent. And this camera is a great asset to my channel. Every shot you're seeing in this video was shot handheld. And as you can see, I got very nice handheld footage from this camera. Even though it doesn't have stabilization in it, but it does has gyro stabilization, which you can use in DaVinci Resolve to stabilize your footage. For example, in this shot right here, I was really trying to keep the shot steady and I just couldn't. The New York City train conductors, they drive like Dominic Toretto. But lucky for me, I used the gyro stabilization in DaVinci Resolve and I was able to get a more stable image. Something that is very important to me is that the camera should always be an extension to your body. And this camera is so intuitive. It tells me, hey, don't worry about me. Just focus on the image in front of you. And that to me is priceless. The menu is so intuitive that under 5 minutes, I was able to set up the camera to my liking. And I guarantee you, if you know what you're looking for, you're going to find it very, very quickly. What matters the most, like I said before, is the image you can get. This 6K sensor shoots in open gate 3x2, which means the camera is using the full sensor to give you a bigger image, which means you can crop your image to your liking and still have a crispy 4K image. Now, if you're like me, you might just choose the 3x2 aspect ratio, which is the one you're seeing here that looks more like a square. Trust me, once you try open gate 6K 3x2, it is hard to go back. Sadly, soon I'm gonna have to go back because my camera doesn't shoot in 6K open gate at all. If you're waiting for me to go like this and do that rolling shutter test, it's not happening. I didn't change my style of shooting with this camera because I don't move the camera like this to get my shots. So to me, that test is irrelevant. The rolling shutter performance in this camera is just like the Arri Alexa or maybe better. So I think we should be okay. As you can see in these images, the low light performance is decent. It is not as bad as I thought based on the reviews that I have seen on YouTube. Now, I live in the city. There is plenty of lighting all around the city when it is nighttime. I don't need a crazy low light performing beast. This one is decent enough for me to get the shots in low light that I want. I believe that a lot of people are spoiled with low light performance and they want to see daytime when it is nighttime. When it is nighttime, your shadow should be dark. I really think that this camera is the best for me, even though the Pyxis is out. Why do I like this one instead of the Pyxis? First of all, it's cheaper. Let's get that out of the way. This one is 2,500. Pyxis is like about 3,000. The Pyxis is great for those who are operating in a studio or for those who are in a set making movies. I'm not that kind of person. I am the typical run and gun shooter, solo shooter that is trying to capture life cinematically. So for me, this is the shape to go with. For some people, you might like the box shape. That might be better. But with the box shaped cameras, you need a monitor. This one already has a monitor and you can tilt it like that. It's not a flippy screen, but this is enough for me to go out there and shoot. With this one, I can just put it in my backpack, add a lens to it, and we're ready to go. Let's get the shots. With the Pyxis or any other square looking camera, I need to rig it. And if I rig a camera, trust me, I'm not gonna take it apart just to put it in my backpack, to then put it together to go out there and shoot. That's why those cameras are better for people who are on set and they have the time to do all of that. For the run and gun shooters, this is better. This right here is a battery grip. And when you take it right off, the camera is not as heavy as you might think. It is way lighter than it seems. This is the camera by itself. With this, the camera lasts about 3 hours when you're shooting straight on. The camera has one battery. The battery grip can take 2 more batteries. In the first shoot, I was able to shoot for 5 hours and I still had an extra battery fully charged. That is plenty for me. I am very efficient when I'm shooting. So every time I get the shot and I don't know what else to shoot at that moment, all I have to do is shut the camera down, shut it off. Once I get an idea of what I want to shoot next, then I turn it right on. The good thing about this cinema camera is that when you turn it on, it takes a few seconds to turn on. For example, the Red Komodo takes about 2 to 3 minutes to turn on. At that moment, you already lost the shot. It is over. The internal audio in this camera is great. It is much better than a lot of hybrid cameras. I didn't use any external microphones, which is a plus to me because it keeps my rig down. And this is all I use to shoot everything that I shot. When it comes to camera gear, the devil is in the details. For example, this camera has false colors. This allows you to see your exposure with colors, which is, in my opinion, a cinema feature, real cinema feature. Then it has some other features that is found in other cinema cameras. With this, you can monitor your footage in 16:9 and other aspect ratios. This camera is jam-packed with cinema features like internal RAW, 12-bit, and other cinema features. And if you were hyped that the creator was shot in the Sony FX3, trust me, when you shoot with this, you're going to be even more satisfied. That camera goes for $4,000. This one goes for $2,500. And this is a real cinema camera. I really believe that if Arri made a camera like this, just like this, with the same features, just exactly the same to be honest, and they put Arri right here, Arri Alexa Tiny, and they priced it for, let's say, $10,000. I really believe that the filmmaking community will go crazy. They will go ahead and call that camera perfect. That's how we operate, it's the way we work. Not everybody can afford a camera like this, but for those who can afford a camera like this, if you're on the fence on whether or not to get this camera or pass and wait for the perfect camera, there are no perfect cameras. You can only find what is the perfect camera for either the job that you're doing, your style of shooting, and maybe the things that you put as your top priority. If image is at the top of your list and shooting experience, then this camera is one of the best, if not the best, at least in my opinion. Every time I'm shooting with this camera, I feel joy. I feel happiness. I don't have to worry about it. All I'm worried about is what kind of shot I'm going to get. And every time I look at the images or I show people on the screen the images that I got from them, I see a smile in their faces. To me, that is the whole point of this filmmaking journey, is to capture life cinematically. It is to tell our stories and to use these tools to shape the stories that we tell. That being said, this camera is a lot of fun. This camera can cook, and to be honest, this camera has the sauce. That's all I have to say.